A woman after marriage becomes a wife. For 9 long months she carries a new life. Islam legislates equality, my sisters and brothers. Don't forget paradise lies at the feet of your mother.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to our episode, The Art of Divorce. In the last episode, we discussed about the woman and the wife helping to make the decision for or against divorce. And we ended up at the point where we said that the sisters who are practicing and have husbands who are not practicing, how do we rule in this case? And we have with us today to further discuss this matter, Sheikh Haitham Al-Haddad, who is all the way from the United Kingdom. He's a member of the Islamic Sharia Council of the UK, as well as the director of the MRDF, which is the Muslim Research and Development Foundation, also in the UK. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, let's go straight into the point. When you were in the last episode, we ended abruptly when you were mentioning that most of the cases when there is a problem between the husband and wife, it is the wife who is more multazima, practicing towards upholding the rules of Islam and so forth. How do you see this as in terms of making that decision, the woman making that rule?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salamu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. It's difficult. I haven't said that in most cases or most women are more practicing than the men. Yes. But I said in some cases both are not practicing. They got married to each other, not practicing, and then because of media, because of internet, and alhamdulillah now the da'wah is very active in many countries, most likely women start to practice before their husbands. So there will be a problem. The sister is complaining that her husband is not practicing. And in many cases, this is a predicament for her because she wants her husband to practice the deen. And in many cases, he stops her from practicing certain issues. For example, some sisters start to wear proper hijab and he said, no, I don't want this. Or the sister wants to take her children or her kids to Islamic schools, and the husband say, no, I don't want you to take them to Islamic schools because they are not academically well. Or the sister sometimes won't like to attend Islamic circles or Islamic activities, and the husband, he said, no, we don't want this. Or in some other cases, the sisters started to stop maybe practicing this free mixing, and the husband, he said, no, this is my family, I cannot stop this, and they are visiting us, so you have to come and give salam to my brothers or my cousins, etc. So these are typical examples of the common problems that occur when the sister start to practice and the husband is not yet practicing. So the sister is always asking for solutions. And in some cases, in a few cases, very sad cases, those practicing sisters provoke divorce. Or in some other cases, the practicing sisters thinking that their husbands, because he's not practicing or they are not practicing, they have to end up the marriage.
Yes.
And here I would like to pinpoint this issue. If your husband is not practicing, please, sister, remember that at one point you are not practicing. And then Allah Jalla wa Ala gave you hidayah, and Allah Jalla wa Ala may give hidayah to your husband. This is one thing.
Yes.
The other thing is, if he is not practicing, don't provoke him against Islam and against practicing the deen by showing a negative attitude. And sisters, remember, even if he is not practicing, but he is still the father of your children, provided that he is still Muslim. We are not talking about those who are not Muslims. They are not practicing the deen to the level that they went or left the fold of Islam. No.
Okay.
We are talking about as far as he is classified as a Muslim.
Yes, okay.
So remember that he is the father of your children. And the children need a father. Don't say, I will take care of them. Unfortunately, in many cases, the sisters, they say, no, I can take care of my children. I am proposing to take them to madrasas or Quran lessons, but my husband is refusing this. He doesn't want this. So that's why maybe let us just get divorced.
Okay.
So these are wrong perceptions, because we mentioned that marriage breakdown or marriage separation or divorce is one of the evil things in general.
Yes.
And maybe one of the hadith that need to be mentioned is the very famous story of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. And in Surah Al-Talaq, when Allah Jalla wa Ala mentioned about إن تتوبا إلى الله, the verse إن تتوبا إلى الله فقد صغت قلوبكما وإن تظاهر عليه فإن الله هو مولاه وجبريل وصالح المؤمنين. Sorry, Surah Al-Tahrim. In Surah Al-Tahrim, this story, the reason for the revelation of Surah Al-Tahrim is that the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Aisha and Sauda, conspired against the other wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who is Hafsa, the daughter of Umar ibn al-Khattab. And Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha said that one time the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to Hafsa and he spent more time with her. So she said, I became jealous. So I said, I asked the people, why did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam spend more time with Hafsa this time when he used to visit us after Asr? So I heard that someone gifted Hafsa some honey. So for sure, Hafsa gave the Prophet ﷺ some honey to eat. So she became jealous. So Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha said, let us conspire against Hafsa. So she went to Sauda and told her that when the Prophet ﷺ comes near to you, tell him that, I feel a bad smell. So the Prophet ﷺ doesn't like to have this bad smell. So they conspired against Hafsa, and then the Prophet ﷺ said, I had some honey, and then because of this I will never eat honey after that. So Allah Jalla wa Ala revealed, Ya ayyuhan nabiyyu lima tuharrimu ma ahalla Allahu laka tabtaghi mardata azwajik, that it is not befitting for you to make what is halal, to make it haram because of your wives. Now, in this story, it was then Allah Jalla wa Ala revealed in the Quran that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to tell Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha about what happened, and to tell the other wives about what happened. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as a result of this, he decided to keep away from his wives for some time. In some riwayat, for 1 month. So some people understood as if the Prophet ﷺ divorced his wives. Some of the Sahaba. Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he was very close to the Prophet ﷺ, and he said, one time I was at my home, and all of a sudden, one of the companions of Al-Ansar, he said to me, he was knocking on my door and shouting, oh Umar, come on. So Umar ibn al-Khattab, I said, what happened? The Ghassan is a tribe, was about to attack Medina. Imagine, Ghassan was a tribe about to attack Muslims in Medina. So Umar ibn al-Khattab said, what? Ghassan attacking us? He said, worse than this. So Umar ibn al-Khattab said, worse than Ghassan attacking us? I cannot imagine something worse than Ghassan attacking us in Medina. He said, what? He said, the Prophet divorced his wives. He said, Umar ibn al-Khattab became very angry and worried. Angry in general because of this divorce, and in particular because of his daughter Hafsa.
Hafsa, yes.
So he left to check with the Prophet ﷺ. In one of the riwayat, he went to the masjid, and he said that I saw Muslims crying because the Prophet ﷺ divorced his wives. Means please sisters, think about this. Divorce is not an easy issue. Divorce, originally speaking, is an evil thing. Although we have said that it is not the end of the life, but originally speaking, is not something that Allah Jalla wa Ala is pleased with. It's not something that Allah Jalla wa Ala likes. So don't say, because my husband is not practicing, I have to end the marriage. And wallahi, sisters, from experience, it is up to you. You want to take it, you don't want to take it. Some sisters who are not practicing, who are practicing, and they want to be divorced from their husbands, they fell in zina after divorce. Because we told that she will be missing the matrimonial life, etc. And they were practicing, they fell in zina. They fell in illicit relationship. Their children were lost because the children are not with their father anymore.
SubhanAllah. So what, the end of the story, if you can continue, what was the end of the period of the story?
The end of that story, the story of Umar ibn al-Khattab, is that the Prophet ﷺ said, no, I haven't divorced them. So Umar ibn al-Khattab at that time was relieved. So anyway, the story goes on. But I mentioned this story to show the gravity of divorce and how Muslims used to view divorce in general. This is when the Muslims, they were living in an Islamic society. So if a woman was to be divorced, the rest of the society will take care of her, will take care of her children. Now imagine in these days, who is going to take care of the wife? Who is going to take care of the children? Let alone at that time, when a divorce takes place, the wife will, or the woman, will get married to another man, and they will not feel hatred against each other. And there are a number of examples from the Sahaba, radiallahu ta'ala anhum, time, when a person divorced his wife and then she got married to another man, and they were living together as brothers. But in our time, a divorcee, it is unlikely for her to get married. So sisters, please, even if you are practicing, your husband is not practicing, don't push for divorce.
Okay.
That is the main point. Don't say that he is not practicing. The other point is, you are the best person to influence him to make him practicing. But, do we have time to continue after but, or?
Okay. Let us take a point at but, inshallah, and keep the viewers in the waiting, inshallah. I hope you want to hear what is after this. We'll take a short break and we'll be back right after this.
Don't forget paradise lies at the feet of your mothers.
لبيك اللهم لبيك
لبيك اللهم لبيك
لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك
لا شريك لك لبيك
إن الحمد
Fundamentals of Hajj.
لك ومن
Explore the real meanings of Hajj and how the rites of Hajj can have a great influence on our hearts, souls, and faith.
Fundamentals of Hajj is to perform Hajj physically, but not to be forgetful when it comes to our hearts. So this program is intended for us to make Hajj with our hearts. That we don't just make Hajj physically with our bodies, it's Hajj with the body and the heart is the foundation. So now, this is the time when the Muslim will get to see the Kaaba. The day of Arafah is the day where the sins are forgiven, where people are freed from the hellfire, the day that every person, every Hajj is waiting for the day of Arafah. Hajj is a journey that a person would endure so much patience, and we need to struggle and to be patient with many of the things that we encounter in Hajj. The Hajj, making Hajj, it destroys all the sins before it. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for those who are to perform the worship of Hajj, and for those who did not go for Hajj, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all the opportunity to go for Hajj and to have our deeds accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
All of this and more with Sheikh Ibrahim Zidan, who will take us on a journey to discover some of the treasures of the pilgrimage of Hajj in this wonderful program.
لا شريك لك.
Huda, a light in every home.
Forget paradise lies at the feet of your mothers.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. You're watching The Art of Divorce, and we're still talking to Sheikh Haitham Al-Haddad. We were just mentioning about when the wife becomes practicing and the husband is not practicing, and then you were mentioning how grave situation of divorce is towards the woman, the children, the society. And then you mentioned a but.
Yeah. So, I was, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah. I said, when we have a situation of the sister started to practice the deen and the husband is not practicing the deen, we said that the best person to influence the husband is the wife. But the key point is how to influence him. In a previous episode, we mentioned using the feminine qualities.
Yes.
And again, here I would like to stress on this point and add to it another point, which is, sisters, avoid lecturing your husband. Sometimes some practicing sisters act as if they are teachers, if they are lecturers, if they are preachers, and they sit the husband and they start giving him lectures after lectures. Now the husband will not be pleased with this. In particular, sisters, and I noticed this, that some sisters are trying to lecture their husbands in front of the children or in front of other people. And again, what was our point? Our key point is what? Attack against his
Manhood.
But there are many other ways. And of course, this program, we are not talking about marriage and how to maintain marriage. Our main focus on how to delay divorce.
Yes.
Otherwise, there are so many ways how a woman, a practicing sister, can influence her husband and can make him practicing the deen indirectly without lecturing him.
Yes.
There are so many other ways, but let us just stop here now. And the point is, avoid lecturing him, use your feminine qualities, and use other indirect methods to influence him. Now, most likely, the husband will start practicing. Even if he did not start to practice the deen, but he is classified as a Muslim, don't, please, sisters, don't provoke him to divorce you. Don't say, my husband is not practicing. It's better for us to be divorced.
Yeah, I want to stick a pin right here, Sheikh. When you said that the woman shouldn't lecture to her husband nor make him feel that he is inferior to her towards practicing the religion, right? But isn't this a role as well of the imam and of the community to ensure this? Because I know that in many cases that when the imam tolerates the woman speaking about her husband in such a way, it really encourages the woman to take that step.
Yeah, it is true that the imams, they have to make sure that women attending the congregation, that they have to understand this point and not to start lecturing their husbands, because this will create so many problems within the Muslim community. So they have to advise the sisters to deal with this matter carefully.
Okay, so, and we've mentioned a lot about the woman playing the role. But sometimes we have the opposite scenario in which the man is the practicing figure. That when both of them were not practicing, and then for some instance or the other, the brother becomes practicing. How does he act in terms of, with regards to his wife? Because he sees his wife as not the person who is helping him to achieve his goal now in life, because the goal of his life has changed totally.
Yep.
Right? So what are some of the steps you have to advise the brothers with in terms of maintaining?
See, in general, we say to any person who is not practicing and he started to practice, when he is practicing, we tell him or her, please do remember yourself before start practicing. Maybe some other people used to look at you as an evil person, and now you became what? A good person. So others whom you are looking at now as evil people, maybe become good people. So don't just deceive yourself and don't forget how you used to be. This is one thing. So brothers, look at your wife from this perspective, that she might become practicing. This is one thing.
Yes.
The other thing, normally we see that brothers are neglecting their wives. Husbands are neglecting their wives. What do we mean by this? They are not teaching them Islam. They are not taking them to Islamic activities. They are not involving them in their life. They are not trying to advise them to minimize some of the haram things that they do. They are not providing them with solutions or with alternatives. Take, for example, the issue of TV. Many women like to watch TV at home.
Yes.
In many cases, the practicing brothers are complaining, but they are not providing sisters or their wives with better alternative, or at least Islamic alternative. Good Islamic channels. This is an example. Or maybe they should enroll them or consider enrolling them in some Islamic studies or some Islamic universities. Now, alhamdulillah, we have online Islamic studies, many online Islamic universities, something like this. They don't provide them with cassettes or with CDs where they can hear Islamic material. They don't provide them maybe with internet facilities so they can listen to some Islamic material. Even if there is internet now, broadband, etc., is common in every single home. But the husband is not encouraging his wife or is not guiding her to some Islamic websites where she can access the material to listen to this. The husband is not very close to his wife, close from living a romantic life with his wife. Again, it might take us out of the remit of this discussion when we start to talk about this and give the examples of the Prophet ﷺ and how he used to live with his wife and how he used to show love to his wife. Let me just mention one example. The wife of the Prophet ﷺ, Khadija. Khadija radiallahu ta'ala anha, the Prophet ﷺ got married to her, and during that time he did not get married to any other wife. He used to love her so much, the Prophet ﷺ, despite the fact that he was 25 and she was 40. After she passed away, the Prophet ﷺ remained 3 years, and then he got married to Aisha, which was the most beloved wife to him at that time. Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, the daughter of Abu Bakr, his very close friend and companion. One time the Prophet ﷺ was sitting with Aisha and eating some food. All of a sudden he heard some footsteps. Those footsteps reminded him with what? The footsteps of Khadija. Khadija died. So he said, Kuni, be, the one who is coming, be Hala. Hala is who? Is the sister of Khadija. So imagine, the Prophet ﷺ was so attached to Khadija radiallahu ta'ala anha, and he used to remember her even after she died, and he used, in the other riwayah, he used to give, when he used to cook something or his family used to cook something, he used to send to the friends of his wife that died some time ago. He used to send some food for the friends of Khadija radiallahu ta'ala anha.
Subhanallah.
So imagine how he used to express this. He was not shy to express this. Then Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha in that incident became a little bit jealous. And she said, oh, what is this? She was an old woman and Allah Jalla wa Ala gave you a younger woman better than her. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was quite upset, and he said, oh Aisha, she supported me. She supported me financially, and she endorsed me, she endorsed my da'wah, and she aided me. At the time, no one aided me.
Subhanallah.
Okay, so this is an example, and there are many other examples. But the point here is the husband should manifest some love to his wife. That is not aib. Many people think that this is maybe shame on the husband to show this romantic life to his wife. And in some cultures, the children, and I just pointed on this issue in one of the previous episodes, when we sit with the husband and wife and we say to them, okay, you don't want divorce, but you are not taking enough steps to maintain a harmony in your life. Why? And we see that in many cases, the husband says, I don't know how to do that. Because he haven't seen his father doing this to his mother.
Yes,
and same thing with the wife. So once we express this, our children will learn how to express love to the other side. And this is important, because expressing love, expressing care, even, see, and please, brothers and sisters, even if you don't really love your wife, don't show her that you don't love her. Show her that you love her. Don't say that this is hypocrisy.
Okay.
And I know if we start discussing this, then maybe we need another series. But I would like to stress on this point. And I read that some of the Salaf, one time a man came to him, one of the great Salaf. I don't want to mention his name because I haven't confirmed this story. I read it long time ago. That a man came to him and he said to him, I don't love my wife. He said, so what? Do you think that all those people love their wives? But how can people live a family life? So it means that if it happened that you don't love your wife, don't tell her that I don't love you and I'm just living with you because of children. That is a disaster. Same thing, a very similar story. A wife came to one of the great Salaf, one of the great scholars, and she told him that I don't love my husband. And he became angry. He said, one of you doesn't love her husband, and she tells him that she doesn't love him. What do you expect from him? So, please, brothers and sisters, if you have, مثلا, you don't see your wife very attractive, don't tell her that you are not attractive. This will hurt her, and this will destroy your life. If you decide to divorce her, then divorce her on a good will. Don't hurt her feelings. Remember, she is a human being, and she might get married again, and she is the mother of your children, if you have children from her, or she was about to become the mother of your children. And even if she is not the mother of your children, even if she doesn't produce children, but people will say she is the ex-wife of so and so.
Okay, we're out of time today, but this is an interesting point we would like to discuss in the matter of love and emotions in the marriage, and how to not to hurt each other at the time of divorce. But unfortunately, we're out of time today, but inshallah in the next episode, we do hope to continue in this series of The Art of Divorce. Jazakallah khair for being with us today, Sheikh Haitham. Okay, that wraps it up today for our program, The Art of Divorce. So I leave you with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Woman's status in Islam, we should never neglect. They are favored and deserve their respect. They can pray at the mosque or even at home. They may marry or divorce, it's a choice of their own. A woman after marriage becomes a wife. For 9 long months she carries a new life. Islam legislates equality. My sisters and brothers, don't forget paradise lies at the feet of your mothers. Righteous women can lead a happily married life. The best men are those who are best to their wives.